Well, today I'm going to attempt a lovely mountain scene and lake scene in the lakes. I think it's Lakes UK, but I came across this beautiful picture. Look at that, with that lake and the colours, but the shape. Look at the lovely shape I've got there, and the sun on this lower part of the hill here, or the mountain, and then in the background is all blued out, which pushes it back. That's the plan anyway. But we've got this sort of trees, the shape set against the white of the cloud and that cloud bank there. And we've got a few interesting features as well. We've got a fence here, I've noticed, and a wall, dry stone wall there, and we've got a strip of green over there, and these lovely reds and russet colours here, different greens, usual challenge with the greens, but we need to make sure we've got our light and dark. We've got this ridge of dark colour here and here, but again I've got to try and keep a balance between keeping it light and having this high definition, this sort of outline against the sky there. It gives it almost a silhouetted effect. But it's a good idea to look at your picture and say, what do I want to capture? What is my main objective? My main objective is to try and maintain those lights there. Push that far mountain back with blue, and a fairly accurate drawing of this. And the lake. We've got this lovely lake. How do we paint water? Always a challenge. But anyway, I'm going to have a go. I did do it earlier, actually a few days ago, at a smaller format, 7 or 8 inches, something like that. Much bigger one now. I can't recall quite what I've got now, but much more like 12 by 8, I think it is. Hold on, let me just check. I'll find the paper. I'll tell you, it's on Langton's Prestige, 100% cotton, and this is going to be, this is 14 by 10 inches. So it's a good paper, and it's rough grain as well, so we've got a bit of texture we can get out of that. So first thing first, let's get a nice wash in for the sky area. So I've got a nice big bit of a mop brush here. Now how I don't want it tracking, cancel, that's right. Let's get a nice blue going over here. I better clean this palette a little bit. Well, I can use actually some of these to put in some of this green wash here. A little bit of almost dry brush there, but this will help me get a start anyway. We can go over, obviously, with different textures, more intense colours as we go. And this green comes right down into this right hand side here in the foreground. So you want to have more intense colours when they're closer to you. You get less colour, less chroma as it goes out into the distance. But anyway, that'll do for the moment. But let's get back to my sky. Now I've cleaned up that little bit of my well there. I think I'm going to go with some cobalt, my usual cobalt or cerulean mixture. So let's wake up my paints. They're a bit dry. I've got Winsor & Newton paints. I generally use a few Daler-Rowney. I've mixed a variety of them actually in my palette here. Actually, I could show you if I can lift off my velcroed palette without just breaking it up. Here we are. Can you see those colours there? I've got cerulean here and cobalt there. So I'm going to make a nice good puddle. You can see all my colours here. Got sap green, viridian, hookers, and 2 or 3 reds, 3 reds, cadmium red, crimson alizarin, cadmium orange here, cadmium yellow, various, and umbers, burnt sienna, ultramarine there, and Payne's grey. I use that quite a bit, but let's get back on with that nice puddle there. Make sure I get it a nice intensity, because it's going to dry a great deal lighter, and I want to preserve some clouds as well. I can paint over some of these trees, because they're going to be a much darker paint. So we'll leave those clouds shapes anyway, and bring it down a little bit here. And yes, they come to the top of the mountain there. So yes, I think we can do that. I bring it down here. I think we'll put a little bit of crimson alizarin in those lower, to give us a bit of a shadow colour. I think we could go a little bit brighter with that. And underside of some of these clouds as well. Right. And then we can, I think I'm going to use this blue now to get in my lake. It goes up just behind this bit of headland there and comes in here. Got to keep a nice straight line. There's a meadow in the distance there, which I will put in some green, different colour green, fairly muted as it's out there, although it's got a bit of sun on it, so it might show up a little brighter green. So yes, let's do that. And we could put some little texture in here, I think. Let's get a bit of paints in there right away with this big wash. Yes, just to give us some idea of the, don't want it too blue. A few bits, yeah. Okay, let's get onto a smaller brush so we can get some more of these mounting colours in. I think I'm going to change the brush to this. This one is a graduate 1/2 inch square, little flats there. I think we'll do that and get some of these mounting colours in. And as I said, they're blued out because they're in the distance. I don't want them to be brighter than that, because they will appear to be too close. So I've got to try and get the right tone. So I'm using a mixture now. A little Payne's grey, A little bit of these blues here. Cadmium there, cadmium, what am I on about? Cobalt. And here I've got cerulean. So I've mixed it up, fairly greyish colour. So again, quick glance at my reference, and I think we'll just go for it. That's right. And this side is in the shadow. So we've got to, let's put some umber or sienna, I think, or little bits of green. No, let's have a look. I've got to change it. I've got to vary these colours. So we get this mountain, a little bit different from the one set there, behind it somewhat. Let's go there. It's a bit of darker. Using a little bit of dry brush there, that will leave me some textural things to pick up, which I can drop in different colours as well. And actually it comes up here and down this side, still the same colour because it's a fair way in the distance. In fact, I think it's a little bit too intense. So let's lift a little bit there. It comes here. That's a bit better for the grey. It's a bit more muted. Behind there we've got a mountain ridge. And that blue, actually, let's bring that down here more into this valley. There. Hidden behind there. And this, when I put these trees in front of it, it will hopefully push it a little bit further back. Now let's get some green, some muted green. So I'm just, you can often use some of these colours from your palette rather than washing them out and losing them, waste. But these mixture of earthy greens and colours, you can often find a home for them. Yes, that's not far off what I'm looking for there. Little bits there. Need a bit more water now. Coming in there. Let's change again. Clean off my brush. A little, I can see a hint of a lighter, more yellowy, brighter green. Actually, some of this. Let's do that. You see that? That's much brighter, isn't it? Let's dab that in. Comes here. Down into the valley here where it's getting some sun. I could step up that slightly darker there, I think. Okay, and I think I need to make this darker too. There's a sort of vague hint of red in it as well. Reddy brown, reddy browns here. Coming here. Also some bits there. And bit of red hidden behind these trees, this bit of hillside here, probably with all those vegetation you get in the lakes. Could it be heather? That's more Scotland, isn't it? Bracken, I think, might be. Sort of brackeny colours. It's again different, little bit of water and mixing with that red. But I think I want to make this a little bluer. I think I'm going to perhaps go for a little bit of ultramarine in some of this blue area in this to define that edge a bit better. Oh yes, I think that's more what I need there, set against the sky there. Comes in here, and then I think we can go back to that red now and fill in these, because there's no white showing there. It's just different tones I want to get in there. I left a bit of dry brush there, but I want to bring that edge down there to help define that ridge. That's better. And then down here I think I'm going to put a bit of sap green, because there was a bit of a meadow here along the lake's shore there. And we can put some different greens in here now where we've got them. So this is sap green. And let's get some umbers going as well. Burnt umber. I think this is a wall here. It's a sort of dry stone wall. So I'm just get a fairly stiff mixture of different browns. I said we've got to put those trees in as well, and I sketched in my rough drawing to try and mark out where I needed some darks, and certainly it was there. Let's get a bit more of that Payne's grey. And it comes, we've got a section here of the stone, and we've got to try and put some shadows in too from this tree later. We'll do that. Again, just try and get some of these things to help us with the contour of the shoreline. This edge is a bit shadowed in the shadow. So I'm using a fairly big brush actually for this, but I don't want to get bogged down in too much detail early on. Anyway, I'm going to have to go back with a smaller brush to try and delineate some of my trees a little better. And yes, we've got on this edge of this ridge, you've got like screed coming there. Look, let's just try and break that. We want to separate this side of the mountain from this, but we've got to make them connected. They've got to connect in some way, I think, for it to look real. The sharp shadows there. Okay, and that dark is overlapping there. I'm looking at my photograph, but still got to remember I don't have to chase that photograph necessarily. It's there as my guide. I'm not a slave to it. Right, so I can move this out a little bit, clean my brush a little bit, put a slight blue, a bit more blue I think I need in there. That's a bit too much. I'm going to just wash a little bit out my brush. This is the thing you can do if you've got good paper. You'll be amazed that you can sometimes erase things. It's not a totally lost cause. Can be, I must admit, with some things on a watercolour, but you stand a little more chance if you've got good paper. As we say, that watercolour has a will of its own. You try and control it to some extent. But you've got to respond to how things are happening. What happens. You can't always control it. Let's get some things there. Right. Okay. I think I have to define that wall a bit better. As we know, I think we need some browns in here as well. I've got some light red actually. We say red, it's a kind of browny colour, but yes, let's go with that. Yes, there's a couple of areas where we have more red. Right, and then some different green. Let's mix some green and blues different. Let's get down to the ultramarine and the yellow. Make some nice greens. Could probably put some grasses in a bit later. And I've got to put a few trees in along that line there as we go. Actually, I'm looking now. It's good to look away sometimes, and then you realize where you haven't quite got the colour you want. Right, I'm going to do that. Now, let me see. Yes, I think I can, if that dry. Can I get some trees in now? Let's get a small brush and see if we can mark some trees in, because they are a major feature of this. of this picture because the way they're set against that sky. So I'm going to use a number 6 here, number 6 round, fairly nice point on it. So let's get some, let's get a tree in here. Yes, right, that's quite a close one to us, so let's right, okay, it's coming together there. Needs some stiffer mixture, I think, until this, and also where this, we've got a dark area here. So let's use my little brush there to try and define that little cut there in the soil. There's a sort of ridge there. Right, let's back to the tree. Mixture of varying browns, little red, little umber. Just keep it varied. Now let me think, a nice tree here, wasn't it? That's nice here. And it's coming here. It's a little bit wet there. Let's leave that for a moment. I got another one here. One branch was coming out like that. Could use a little rigor perhaps later. Try not to make it generic. You know, trees are very variable. They've got their own character. All of them are a little different. Let's get here this. I can see where I've drawn some lines still. There's another one there, I think. Using the side of my brush now to suggest a few smaller branches or leaves. But they were fairly bare actually because of the time of the year. So I've got to not overdo it, but I've got to get a good contrast going. There's one here. Make sure they're grounded as well. And of course we've got this stray old dry stone wall there, which is quite a foil to the other shapes that we've got. I need to let some of that dry actually. It's still a bit moist. Got a little bit of bleeding now, which I don't want. Try and do some more on the hillside behind. Right. Now let's get back and make sure we've got these darks in there to define this feature there much darker. Let's get some umbras going. In my photograph there's, it's dark, it shows it dark, but as we all know, the camera doesn't always get the colours that you get in the shadows. They tend to be sort of a bit lost in the darks. I've got some here. Let's change some colours. I say I'm trying not to just do it too dark without a bit of colour in it. So that's the reality. You need to break up that line a little bit, and I think this needs to be get a little darker there. There was a bit of a wall there, one of those little stiles you can step over when you're out hiking round the lakes here. And I've got to get these trees in too. On that far shoreline there's a few trees. They were all staggered, and also I could see get a little walls like this. Dry stone walls. Got the sheep in their designated areas. Right. There's our shoreline anyway. Now let's change the greens again. Yes, that's better. I'm going to soften up some of these lines. And I've got to get a fence in there as well. There's a nice fence coming along here. Let's go for that. Where's the first post? Is here, and I could put some gouache on later as well to emphasize that sort of greyish colour that weathered wood can get. Just old fences here, and we'll try and put some lines in to emphasize some old rails or some wire. But then let's get, we need more intense colours in our foreground. So I'm going to mix up a bit of yellow there in my green. Can you see got some cadmium yellow here, mixed it with a bit of green, try and give me some different colours here in the foreground, because it is, as we say, the foreground. You generally get much more intense colours, and they get more muted as you move into the distance. Now I think I need to put a bit of more hints of shape here. It's all a bit too similar there. Let's put some reds and browns in some of the areas. Slightly different colour out there. I think I'm going to get a bit of orange to give me a slightly different colour there on that hill there. Right, now that will sort of mute somewhat, but let me change that tonal value there. Got a bit of purple there, mixed with my little red with my ultramarine. That's giving me a bit of a shadowy colour actually. And I noticed these trees here, they're casting a shadow actually. This one here, let's get a bit of a purpley colour, see if I can, and this one, let's sweep a bit of shadow. Let's get a bigger brush to fill in some of this foreground. Right, I'm going to mix a bit of... Well, there you have the completed painting. My camera died on me, unfortunately, so I've had to finish it. I wonder if you can see the differences. What I've done, I've put a fence in there and emphasise the trees a little bit better, a little bit more foliage, and done something to the water as well. Put a rock there, and the far distance I've I've still got the bright on the right side of that mountain, altered the left side of the shadow a little differently. But anyway, I wonder what you think of it. I'd be interested to know. Actually, as I said, I did earlier on the week, I did this one, the same picture, in a smaller format, slightly different, as you see, but there's always some details, no fence put in there, and the far shore, the mountain a little bit differently, but there you have it now, the large one. So it's I've started to do that recently, to have a dry run on a smaller format. You learn a few things, but you never get it quite the same. But that's the unique thing of an individual piece of artwork. It is just so different. But anyway, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And also, if you'd like to be notified when I do some more work, hit the subscribe bell, and then you'll be notified when I do some other work. Anyway, thanks for watching.